Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series of operating system. In today's session, we are going to start one new topic which is security and protection. Myself Krunal Panchal, your instructor. In this particular session, we are going to discuss different security goals. What are the intruders, what it means actually, what are the different user authentication mechanisms, then what are the different protection mechanisms that we are going to discuss in this particular session. But before going to discuss these things, uh, let us concentrate on this particular thing. In today's world, we are living in 21st century and everything is uh, everything's are going to digitalized. Okay, so the information is very important nowadays. It means what? The important user data needs to be secure anyhow. In today's scenario, we are dealing with distributed systems. So say for example, our banking systems are distributed in nature. So your data is scattered. You don't know where your account information is stored in which particular we can say server. So the data is replicated, data is fragmented nowadays. Fine. So definitely when we are talking about distributed system, definitely one important uh, issue we need to consider, which is nothing but security. What about security? Fine. Okay, if you are doing replicate our data, if you are doing fragmentation, it's okay. But what about security uh, of a different user account? Say for example, if you're talking about banking scenario. Fine. So security is very important, whether we are talking about centralized system or distributed system. But when we are dealing with distributed system, the security is the main issue. Okay, that we need to focus on. Clear? So if you want to achieve enough level of security, so there are main three security goals we have. In general, whether we are studying the uh, database system, whether we are studying security, networking, whether we are talking about operating system, these are the common security goals that needs to be achieved anyhow if you want to protect your information. So what different security goals we have? So CIA, or we say AIC triad we have, where A stands for availability. E stands for availability. You can see this the different security goals. So availability means what? The information should be available at any moment of time. Suppose if user demanding a particular uh, resource, so that resource needs to be available at any moment of time. If resource is not available, okay, if request is not satisfied, definitely there is no question about the security and all the other things. Fine? Because if transaction is unable to happen, definitely the rest of the things would be useless. Right? Okay, so availability is a very important security goal. Second, integrity. Integrity means what? Only authorized user can do some modification in the data. Means what is authorized user means? So authentication leads to authorization. Means if you submitted your username in Gmail account, that is nothing but your identification, and once you type your password and submit it. So that password is nothing but your authentication. Means what? It proves that, or because if somebody can come to know that yes, this data is coming from, or this mail is coming from this particular person. Means what? Proof of origin. That is called authentication, which is very required, which is very important. Okay, nowadays. So proof of origin. So that is nothing but authentication, and authentication leads to authorization, that we are going to discuss in the upcoming slide. But things, integrity means what? Only authorized user can do some modification. Fine. Then third one is confidentiality. Confidentiality means it is nothing but we can say one type of protection. Means if you want to have some sensitive information or say critical information with you, and if you want to share with somebody else, okay, so you need to share the data in such a way that nobody can reveal that information except except you and your destiny. No other intermediary can able to reveal that information. So to achieve confidentiality, we need to have certain encryption mechanism. So nowadays confidentiality is not depends on the storage of information, but it is also applicable when we are transmitting that information towards the destination. In that case also confidentiality is required. Fine. So these are the three main security goals needs to be achieved. Now the next topic is intruder. Intruder is also known as, we can say, attacker. So what is intruder? So an intruder is a person who attempt to gain unauthorized access to a system, to damage that system or to disturb data on that system. Means it has malicious intent. It means what? He or she is going to harm to your system. Okay, so the intention is not good as far as such type of person is concerned. So intruder is also known as attacker, reverse dropper, we can say. These are the different names of these attackers, we can say. Okay, so there are two types of intruders we have basically. One is masquerader and second one is misfeeder. So what is masquerader? So masqueraders are generally outsiders and misfeeders are generally insiders. What it means actually? So masquerader means what? It is those type of person who do not have the access rights to access certain resources, but somehow he or she can able to manage to get that resources and enter into a system for modification. So masqueraders are generally outsiders and they do not have the privileges or this access right to access to a particular resource, but by doing certain activities or by doing certain operations, he or she can able to manage to get that privileges, and with the help of that privileges he or she can able to enter into your system and tries to modify certain things in your system. So this is the intention of masquerader. Misfeasors are more dangerous than masqueraders. Why? Because they are insiders. Means in a particular organization, the one of the employee of the organization can be a misfeasor. Means that person have certain privileges to access certain resources up to a certain extent. Yes, but he is misusing that privileges or access rights. So they are more dangerous and they are very difficult to detect. Okay, so these two are the different types of intruders that we have. So this is all about intruders or case attacker. Now in the next section we have user authentication mechanism. As I told you, what is authentication? It is nothing but proof of origin. So what are the different mechanisms we have through which we can achieve these things? So one is, as I told you, when you submit a username, it is nothing but your identity. It is nothing but identification. When you submit a password, it is nothing but that is nothing but authentication. So what we can do is, there are various user authentication mechanism, and one of the mechanism is what? Encrypted password. Means what? Without keeping the password in plain text form, what we can do is we can have the encrypted password to provide more level of security. So that is possible in the case of user authentication mechanism. Second is one-time password. So one-time password strategy is more secure as compared to the simple password-based mechanism. Why? Because you know very well, in daily online transactions you are doing this OTP. OTP stands for what? One-time password. And the one-time password is limited for that is activated for a fixed period of time. And once that time is expired, that password will be useless. So definitely it will provide more level of security. So one-time password you can use for user authentication mechanism. Fine. So once you are registered user, then and then you will have the password, and then you can complete the transaction that you want at the end. Okay. So one more mechanism we have for user authentication is authentication using biometric devices. Like say for biometric devices, like we are doing thumb impression, okay, on the biometric device on daily basis to prove our presence in the college. Fine. So that is nothing but a user authentication. There is a facial recognition system we have, iris scan we have. Fine. Then fingerprint scanner we have, through which you can achieve user authentication mechanism. And this biometric based user authentication is more secure as compared to other user authentication mechanism. But when we are dealing with such type of system, there are certain disadvantages, because we are dealing with hardware devices. So that hardware issue we need to consider when we are trying to implement such type of mechanism, okay, with biometric devices. Right? So these are the different types of user authentication mechanism we have. And at the last, we have protection mechanism through which we can consider the access control matrix. So what is access control matrix? So in any company, there are different types of employees we have based on certain department. Like say for example, one company we have in which one payroll department we have. Then say for example, one software development department we have. Then the another department we have. So there are various departments we have, and according to the role of the employee in different department, the administrator, system administrator, provides different privileges, or we can say access rights, to those users, or we can say employees, based on their roles in the organization. Fine. So the administrator will prepare one access control matrix in which there are two fields. One is domain, or we can say subject, and another one is object. You can see in the first column, D1, D2, D3 and D4, these are the different domains, or we can say different users we can say, or we can say these are the different subjects. Fine. And in header of this particular table, in first row we have various objects like file 1, file 2, file 3. So objects can be, uh, object is nothing but a resources. So resources can be hardware resources or it can be a software resources. Means what user demands any type of resources at any moment of time. Yes. So that resources needs to be available. So this type of table or this matrix will be maintained by the administrator based on the user requirement or role based on the user role. Say for example, in this particular example, D1 subject. What is subject and what is object? If I am trying to explain these things with the help of real life example, suppose if I am a subject, why I am a subject? Because I am a active entity. So through subject I can access the object. So this, say for example, presenter is nothing but an object, and these would be considered as passive entity. Why? Because without my effort, this presenter won't work, and this presenter won't move from one place to another place. So that is the reason why this presenter is nothing but object, or we can say passive entity, and I am a subject, and I am nothing but active entity. So through subject we can access the object. So same way in this case, D1 have privileges on file 1, which is nothing but read privileges, or we say read access right. So based on this role of a different employees in a company, the administrator will give the access rights on different resources that we have in the organization. So in this case, D1 will have the read privilege on file 1. Same way that D1 person can read something on file 3 as well, but he or she cannot do write operation or execute operation on file 1 and file 3. Same way D2 person can use the printer and get the print services. Okay. Same way D3 person can read something and execute on file 3 resource. And at the last we have D4 resource. D4 resource can write something on the file 2. Fine. So this is nothing but one access matrix which would be prepared by the administrator, through which we can assign the different privileges. So for security, or for protecting the confidential information, or improper information, or not authorized unauthorized person cannot access the available resources of the organization. Means as per the role, as per the demand of that users, they can use those resources only, because they have given these access rights, and they have given limited access rights to those employees based on their role. Okay, so this is all about the access matrix, which is nothing but protection mechanism. So I hope it was clear to you. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.